All righty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 SPLICE virtual exhibition. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people, who are the traditional owners of the land on which Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre in Melbourne stands. And in the spirit of reconciliation, I would also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Victoria and Australia, and their connections to land, sea and community. And we pay respect to their elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. What a year. Really, I don't think any more needs to be said. 2020 has proven to be so challenging in so many ways, but in turn has gifted us with a new normal, a new way of engaging with learning when face-to-face attendance is impossible. And a story that's perhaps a little too familiar to many young people who are diagnosed with cancer. My name's Anna Gilkison, and I'm the Education and Vocation Consultant at ONTrac at Peter Mac, the Victorian Adolescent and Young Adult Cancer Service. And I have the absolute pleasure of facilitating the SPLICE Visual Arts program. SPLICE, in case you're not sure, is designed to provide young people who've had a cancer diagnosis or who've experienced cancer treatment to re-engage with learning and peer connection when the usual pathways back to these things can be challenging. Alongside weekly classes, all our participants, who you see here today, receive support from myself and my EdVoc colleague Olivia Doidge to encourage transition back into study or employment, things we know are crucial to a happy and healthy life. In true SPLICE spirit, creativity has shone through this year, and the tireless work of the Centre for Adult Education team meant that SPLICE transitioned from face-to-face classes to the virtual realm of Zoom, all without skipping a beat. And I know I might sound a touch biased, but I am sure that you'll agree the work these young people have created this year is nothing short of stunning, and incidentally also available for purchase. But before I introduce you to this year's participants and alumni, I would like to take a moment to thank a few people who have just been crucial and instrumental to the running of the SPLICE program. A huge, huge thank you to the team from Box Hill Institute, which incorporates the CAE, and that includes Michael Meehan, Luke Carlton, Annabelle Mounsey, and of course Tanya Matheson for all your work and support. And of course to the wonderful Mia Schoen, our wonderful, wonderful SPLICE art teacher. Even online, Mia, the CAE continues to provide such a rich and nurturing space for our students. And, you know, to be able to give them that space to be able to create and experience success and to be creative every week is amazing. So thank you very much. To Koala Kids, a fabulous organisation that provides happy moments to children and young people with cancer. In the midst of the pandemic, they jumped at the opportunity to send out all our participants a pack full of art supplies, and we thank them for their support and kindness. Thank you, of course, to Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre and the ONTrac team led by Kate Thompson for their commitment to this program. And of course, special thanks to Jess Lawson for helping with the facilitation of the purchasing of these artworks. Lastly, and most importantly, I would like to thank the SPLICE class of 2020. All these young people you see on your screen in front of you, you know, not only have you developed your visual art skills, but you've also demonstrated an appreciation for the beauty of life. And in the midst of great challenge, you know, and a casual pandemic, your determination to learn and to achieve and to create beauty is just so admirable. So thank you so much for everything that you've given us this year. And I'd like to now hand over to Mia, who is our wonderful SPLICE art teacher.
Yeah, so I'd just like to say how proud I am of my SPLICE students this year. exceptionally proud for an exceptionally tough year. You guys have shown so much. These challenges that we've had to, but we also have managed to stay together and stay driven, and our students have just using motivation and self-motivation. I really feel that but the works you're going to see from this show are really they're all the work and the drive of our young artists themselves. It's just it's really blows my mind when I see what these young people can do with their creative energy and drive. And and sometimes that my students were helping me more than I was helping, and when I ask myself, that is such a key ingredient, and that inspiration, and that's how I mean that they've helped me by staying inspired in my own work as well. Yeah, I'd also like to give a massive thank you to Anna for getting this this whole thing off the ground. When we you know, came to the acceptance, shall I say, that it was going to have to be an online exhibition, it was quite disappointing, because, you know, to see work in the physical realm and have that experience of the exhibition, I really felt that something was turned that completely on its head and made something really amazing out of what was, you know, going to be quite a difficult thing of the online exhibition, where you can peruse the work at your leisure and you get to see how yeah, so I guess on that note, I'll just I'll introduce our young artists. So our core students who've been with us all year, we have Danny Hardy, we have Taryn Graham, we have Flor Castillo and Sina Alpo, who joined us later in the year, and produce amazing work really quickly. Very inspiring. And then we have Richard Ockleshaw and Melody Dunn, who've been making some beautiful work out there in the real world. And I say how I am with the body of work that these young artists have made. You know, it would be an amazing body of work without all the difficulties throughout this year and personal life difficulties as well. But stand alone is an amazing body of work. So if you add that ingredient in, it's just it really is a mind-blowing, and these incredibly talented young artists have a very bright future.
Absolutely agree. Thank you, Mia.
Is he fabulous? Yes, and yes, yep, no worries.
So we've had some questions over the course of, you know, this very tumultuous year that have been posed, you know, to myself and to our young people as they've been participating in SPLICE. And so I thought I might just whip round our little Zoom webinar and introduce each of the young people to you, and also just ask them a question or two. So, Danny,
yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
I know you did SPLICE in 2019.
Yeah.
What do you think, reflecting back now, the biggest change has been to the SPLICE program since 2019, you know, as we hit the pandemic of 2020?
I think, well, last year we would go into the centre, the CAE, in the city, and spend a couple of hours there on a Tuesday, painting and that. But this year we kind of had to do it all from home. So we had to make sure we had our own setup going on, and thanks to Koala Kids, we did get some supplies, and Mia did organise more supplies to be sent to us. But this year it kind of gave us more time because there was not really much else to do. So definitely spent more time painting. And we just had to try gain inspiration from inside the house. And there was a lot of like online stuff to gain inspiration. But our classes were online. So we met for, 45 minutes every week and just kind of discussed what we'd done throughout that week. But what never changed was Mia's advice and support to us, although it was virtual, so it made it a little harder. I still felt like she really helped and guided us through our artwork. Yeah.
Thanks, Danny. And hello to Richard. Now, Richard was a member of SPLICE in 2019 and then in the very first part of 2020, but then something very exciting happened for Richard. Can you elaborate?
Well, yeah, I participated in SPLICE last year, and I did join some of the Zoom classes at the start of this year when those were happening, but I was fortunate enough to get full-time work and be able to work full-time from home. So I've been doing that for perhaps the past 6 months.
Fantastic. Now, Richard, I know that you actually work in a creative industry. You're actually a professional artist. So what have been the challenges of being creative online for you, both professionally and personally?
Yeah, so part of my job is that I spend about 7 hours a day creating various digital art for my job. And so really the last thing I want to do is spend my free time looking at my computer screen more. So yeah, I think just during this past year of isolation and social distancing, it's very easy to become stuck at the computer or on your phone or the TV watching Netflix. So I've tried to really explore my hobbies or my free time, other ways of being creative that don't involve that. I think that's sort of the main challenge, finding forms of creativity that's very separate from my work. So one of the things I've been doing is painting miniatures, little like Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, because I just think it's very therapeutic, very relaxing to paint something without any expectations from work and without any monitors. Yeah.
Thanks, Richard. And I'm looking forward to everyone seeing all the wonderful artwork when we launch the website link in just a few moments. But before we do that, I'd love to hear from Taryn. Taryn was also a SPLICE participant from 2019, and I enjoyed her work so much last year. I actually commissioned a piece that she painted for me at the very, very beginning of this year. Taryn, what do you think has changed most about your art over the course of this year?
I think I'm more experimental with my work and like trying new mediums and techniques. So at the start of the year, I started off with acrylic, which I hadn't used before. And then right before we went into lockdown, I started with oil paints. And then when we got our Koala Kids pack, I went straight to the oil pastels, which I hadn't used since lockdown primary school. But I really enjoyed it. And I also used like clay, and I used like empty clean syringes to like pipe paint onto my work, and using screwdrivers to scratch into the oil paint.
Fantastic. Thanks, Taryn. And Senna. Senna is one of the newest SPLICE participants who's been joining the classes for about a month now. Is that right, Senna?
Yeah, that's right. I just want to start off with saying thank you to Mia and Anna, and also to the people that are watching and listening. Okay, so with my favorite piece, I love all my artworks, but I've just finished, last treatment with to do with cancer, kind of. And with me, my artwork is like a portraying of my emotions, and it's a bit of my identity as well. So I was laying in bed and I was like, how about I do something rather than feeling a bit like depressed or like sad? So how about I, do it through my artwork and just let it out through that. And you probably will realize from my titles as well, like I've named them in accordance to my identity and how I feel and emotions. As I find art in a way that I can express myself and also just, reduce, the stresses. And I'm so like, the fact that I'm able to do this in SPLICE is, I feel very grateful. But But with my artwork, the favorite piece is definitely waves. And waves is, so there's like 3 rocks, and 3 rocks for me was an obstacle that I faced throughout 2020. And I have the waves just, you know, crashing through, and it's just where my emotions and everything are just being released. And I discussed this to my mother, and she's like, how about we go to the beach? So as I walked towards the sand and just feeling the texture and just, you know, seeing the view of the beach and just being able to like relax and also be able to correlate with my artwork has just, you know, made me feel so much better. And being through this journey with cancer and everything, I know it's very, it's not the best to have, but I'm so grateful because I've met so amazing friends and like, you know, be able to explore, explain myself, and just, you know, be able to like, you know, talk to Anna and also see a psychologist. And I'm just so grateful for actually being diagnosed with cancer, because it's changed me. It's enabled me to find the person I am today. And I can't really wait. I just hope that 2020 is soon ended with positive, and that 2021 is better for all of us. But yeah, that's all I just want to say.
What wonderful words. Thank you, Senna. You brought a little tear to my eye. Oh, that's lovely. And finally, lucky last but certainly not least, Floor. Floor, of all the artists on our exhibition this year, you have certainly been the most prolific. You know, your production has exploded. What's changed for you this year that has, you know, given you the space to be so free with your art, and what's inspired all these beautiful pieces you've made?
Well, hi to everyone. First of all, thank you for coming. And I like to say that I actually started like being like a perfectionist. I was really scared of just doing things wrong when I started SPLICE. But then during this year, actually, I lost that fear, and I actually like to mix a lot of things, a lot of colors, and I like to mix mediums and just work on different colorful things. So that's why I make so many pieces, because it kind of broke the perfection on my art a little bit and just started to be a little bit messy. And I like that more. So now all my art is mainly messy. So I like that. And that's been a really big change. And it actually motivates me to do more when I do messy stuff. So I quite like that and quite enjoy that. Yeah, so I think that's been pretty different this year compared to last year, but it's been really great to just go with it and just do it, just try new things, experiment new things, even if it doesn't look like pretty at the beginning. Like at the end, it's just like really, really nice to yeah, just everything. So yeah, really happy with everything that I've done this year.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you, Floor. Thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts and your perspectives. I know that everybody watching this can agree that 2020 has been a bit of a shocker, but there have certainly been some moments of joy for all of us along the way. And so I guess with great privilege and honor, I would love to present to you all the link to the 2020 SPLICE virtual exhibition. So I've just popped that into the chat, but if you want to enter into your internet browser, www.petermac.org/SPLICE. You'll find the link to our exhibition there, and that website's going to be live for approximately a month over the Christmas break, over the New Year break. And if you're interested in purchasing or expressing an expression of interest for any of the artwork that you see on this website, please follow the prompts, and we'll collate all that, and the artists will be in touch with you directly. And don't be afraid to ask for commissions too. I can tell you from experience that it works out really well. So thank you all very much. Thank you to all of our young people, to Danny, to Richard, to Taryn, Senna, Floor, and of course to Mia for joining us here as we launch the 2020 SPLICE virtual art exhibition. Thank you very much, everyone. And we hope you have a happy and healthy and safe festive period. and we're looking forward to seeing what unfolds at SPLICE 2021.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. It was so nice.
Well done, everybody. I've popped that link in the chat for everyone. That's www.petermac.org/splice. Feel free to share that widely. And of course, the recording of this webinar will be up on